Afrika je u usponu. Mnogi su posljednjih godina čuli tu rečenicu. Ali što to znači? Sve veći broj mladih predvodi dinamične promjene na ovom kontinentu. Jedno od polja u kojem se ove promjene odvijaju u posljednjih nekoliko godina je tehnologija, a afrički tehnološki ekosistemi zaista otvaraju nove horizonte. Globalne tehnološke kompanije su se nekad fokusirale na azijska tržišta u razvoju, a danas je očigledan potencijal koji nude afrička tržišta. Bilo da je riječ o sve većem broju tehnoloških centara ili prijestolnica startupa, pojedinci navode da je Afrika trenutno na pragu tehnološke renesanse, u kojoj tehnološki divovi s istoka i zapada pokušavaju uspostaviti snažno prisustvo. Prema izvješću tima Disrupt Afrika za 2022. 633 afrička tehnološka startupa privukla su više od 3,3 milijarde dolara ulaganja. To je nevjerojatan rast od 1694% od 2015. Prema procjenama u Africi je više od 716.000 programera. Iako ta brojka može izgledati velika u usporedbi s nekim starijim tržištima, broj afričkih programera relativno je malen, što ukazuje na mladu populaciju na ovim tržištima. Ipak, svake godine bilježi se godišnji porast broja programera za nekoliko postotaka. Bez prepreka nema renesanse. Afričko tehnološko okruženje suočava se s ozbiljnim izazovima kad je riječ o povezivanju i logistici, kao i ograničenoj bazi korisnika interneta. U ovom slučaju važno je napomenuti da su specifični i složeni faktori koji utječu na afričke tehnološke ekosisteme dokazali da primjena pristupa korištenih u drugim svjetskim regijama ne može garantirati uspjeh. Hrvatski unicorn Infobip jedna je od značajnih kompanija za afrička tehnološka tržišta.
From day one we started to work on how to help companies to communicate better with their clients. Infobip is a company that started in the Balkan region with three founders. One is my brother Silvio and our friend together is Isabel. Today we are 3,500 people together in over 75 offices. So for us was naturally, after we started the business in the Europe, first to go to Africa. And this is a little story about that. What is happening there in this renaissance of tech revolution.
Hrvatska kompanija Infobip jedna je od značajnijih za afrička tehnološka tržišta. Oni su jedan od svjetskih divova kad je riječ o pružanju usluga komunikacije u oblaku globalnim kompanijama. Infobipove komunikacijske usluge koriste najveći afrički telekomi, banke, fintech i sve druge tehnološki orijentirane kompanije. Prepoznati su kao najbolji regionalni program za odnose s programerima od 2023. a misija im je predočiti lokalne tehnološke inicijative i ponuditi edukaciju o novim alatima i rješenjima. U Africi postoji 5 ključnih tržišta: Južnoafrička republika, Egipat, Nigerija, Kenija i Maroko. Polovica svih programera u Africi dolazi s tih tržišta. Naše afričko tehnološko putovanje počinjemo u Keniji, a zatim ćemo posjetiti Ruandu, Nigeriju i Maroko, kako bismo osobno svjedočili tektonskim promjenama u oblasti tehnologije i nadmetanju globalnih tehnoloških kompanija za uspjeh u Africi. Osim toga, upoznat ćemo ljude koji vode afričke tehnološke startupe i osiguravaju financiranje iz lokalnih i međunarodnih izvora. Nairobi je nadaleko poznat kao užurbani istočnoafrički centar, važan u oblastima trgovine, financija i inovacija u regiji. Glavni grad Kenije istakao se kao strateško središte koje povezuje mnoge države i olakšava trgovinu, turizam i diplomatske odnose širom kontinenta. Kao jedno od prvih tržišta za startup tvrtke u Africi, Kenija je godinama stabilno rasla i lider je u afričkom startup okruženju. 2022. godine startupi iz te zemlje privukli su oko 17% ukupnih investicija na kontinentu. Ova hrvatska kompanija već treći put u godinu dana organizira događaj Infobip Connect Meetup u Nairobiju. Infobip meetupe uglavnom posjećuju mladi programeri koje žele naučiti o trenutačnim tehnološkim trendovima ili proširiti svoju poslovnu mrežu. To je uglavnom zato što je većina programera u tim afričkim zemljama mlada.
If you look at a large percentage of the country, it is rural. That basically means that there are a number of services that are not accessible to these areas. There are things that you can get within Nairobi, you can get to a banking hall within Nairobi, but if you go to the rural areas, most part of rural areas, there's no banking hall to get to. So if you look at that aspect of it, it is more natural that there'll be larger penetration when it comes to innovations, technology innovations within this area for the simple fact that it is probably the best that these people are getting. Technology is the way to go. For us, technology is actually the solution to the problems that we are having. If you look at the ratio, for instance, between doctors and the people that the doctors need to attend to, the ratio is so bad that you must have a proper distribution means that one doctor can serve as many people as possible. It's not quite the problem with the West, but it's a problem that we are having. And so yes, we are very innovative, right? And we try to fix the problems that exist in the country.
We understand that millions of people in Africa don't have access to basic affordable health care. And the most affected are actually people who live in the rural and underserved communities. So our idea when we built Zuri Health was how are we able to leverage the available digital technology solutions to provide affordable and accessible healthcare services. Right now, we have needs of people asking us how can we also apply the SMS component of what we are actually building in the African market to markets like the American market, the European market, Asian market. So we're looking at ways in which we can still utilize the available digital solutions. We're also leveraging a lot of blockchain technologies. Right now, we're also diverting into AI. And with these systems, we're also doing a lot of trainings with the already active users and monitoring the data that we have to make informed decisions. Right now we have a facial recognition screening tool that can diagnose diabetes, things like measure your screen for your mental health, STIs, COVID, from cough and all that. So there are ways in which we can still advance how we provide healthcare solutions right now.
Od 2015. Kenija je doživjela vidljiv eksponencijalni rast u financiranju koje su osigurali njeni startupi. Još jedno tržište u usponu je Ruanda. Glavni grad Kigali postao je vitalan i progresivan istočnoafrički grad, poznat po politici održivosti, dinamičnom tehnološkom sektoru i sposobnosti da privuče poduzetnike i investitore s ovog kontinenta i iz cijelog svijeta. Uz dobro planiranu infrastrukturu i strateški položaj, Kigali je zauzeo poziciju regionalnog središta za održavanje konferencija i drugih manifestacija koje potiču suradnju, razmjenu znanja i ekonomski razvoj u istočnoj Africi i šire. Ruandski tehnološki startup sustav još se razvija. Ta se zemlja smatra obećavajućim izazivačem u usporedbi s velikih 5 tržišta zbog privlačnog poslovnog okruženja koje transformira druge sektore. Međutim, 2022. zabilježen je pad od 73% u investicijama osiguranim od startupa u odnosu na 2021. Ruandska kompanija Pinto, što na swahili jeziku znači ugao ili rub, tvrdi da svojom tehnologijom komunikacije u oblaku pomaže institucijama i poslovnim subjektima da dostignu konačni cilj. Odatle i naziv kompanije. Eugene Rwagasore, osnivač i tehnički direktor, vjeruje da pozitivne tehnološke promjene u Ruandi pokreću 3 stvari: politička volja, entuzijazam mladih programera i olakšavanje opstanka startupa praksom ukidanja poreza.
When you look at the African continent, we have 30% of people who have some level of literacy limitations, being literacy in terms of reading and writing, and also there's digital literacy. So every Rwandan has an uncle and aunt who have potentially a good smartphone, but they cannot really use it that much. They use like 1% of its capacity because anything wrong in the normal setup goes wrong on the phone. He has to call his child to say like, oh, something is wrong, I cannot operate this. So what we are doing at Pindo is we saw that as a gap. And it's a gap that is not only in Rwanda, it's across the continent. And they say like, okay, so this is 400 million people who are being excluded from digital marketplace. Because if they have money to pay, they have farmland, they operate in real life business. But every tool that is being made right now is excluding them because they are not being considered, because you have to have the internet, you have to be able to read and write. So what we are doing, we are using voice technology because everyone is familiar with voice. We are using AI now to create a model which we allow to engage with the person. Say like a bank need to engage with those people. They really, really need to do that, but they don't have the tooling. So we are building tooling that will help the bank to communicate with a farmer who doesn't know to read nor write and yet do the banking. So once we solve a problem here, we solve it for the whole continent. So that's why Google cannot come and just like, with their already made up mind and say like, they don't even know that this problem exists. So, but we have lived with that. We know people right now who have those challenges. And what we are doing, we are building the layers one by one. And that's how we think we can build once here and solve the continent and the globe.
Jedan od učesnika panela u Kigaliju je Wayne Gakuo. Kao front-end programer kreira izgled web stranica, jedan je od 1000 Googlovih stručnjaka globalnog programa, namijenjenog pojedincima koji važe za autoritete u jednoj ili više Googlovih tehnologija.
I'm glad to see actually more African developers getting the opportunities. I've seen actually developers not only being in Africa, but also they find themselves being relocated to other places in the world.
On smatra da su Kenija, Nigerija i Južnoafrička republika s dobrim razlogom tehnološki prednjačile kad je u pitanju afrički kontinent.
One thing I've appreciated from them is that they always look at the context before they start building communities. The developers here might have different needs. They could be maybe they require a laptop, they require a power source, for example, they require good internet and all that. So having that context and making sure that, hey, we have developers who are very capable of building products, but we first of all need to address these challenges that they have. So with that, we've always seen people in the communities coming up and saying like, hey, would like to donate, for example, projectors for these communities to be able to keep doing what they do. We'd like to provide laptops for these developers who are interested in building products, building solutions for Africa. Would like to provide, let's say, scholarship opportunities for developers who are interested in enrolling in boot camps such as ALX, Moringa School, and whatnot. And I think with that kind of context has really, really propelled such communities in these countries.
Marijan Čipčić imenovan je za predvodnika inicijativa u Africi i organizatora meetupa.
Why are we organizing this event? We want to help local developers and startups scale their businesses. We want to introduce our technology to them, and hopefully we can see some of the African unicorns in the future that got there actually by using our technology. Interesting thing is that actually successful of this community events in Africa was a kind of a role model for other events. So yeah, we are happy to explore more countries in the upcoming years. It's really great to see and to meet. It's a privilege actually to meet lots of talented developers, lots of startups that already got funding from VCs from US and Europe, and to see what potential really lies here. So we are really happy to be here and to explore even more of it.
Infobip je 2022. i 2023. održao 14 meetupa u 8 afričkih zemalja, odnosno gradova, koje je posjetilo više od 1200 ljudi. Infobipovi meetupi nisu organizirani samo u Africi. 2023. održano ih je 19 u 14 gradova na 3 kontinenta, a posjetilo ih je više od 1700 sudionika. Treća stanica je Lagos, grad u Nigeriji koji je među najvećim na planeti i najbrže se razvija. Poznat kao ekonomska sila Nigerije, Lagos napreduje kao aktivni epicentar Zapadne Afrike. Ima vitalno poslovno okruženje, bogatu kulturnu raznolikost i brzi rast broja stanovnika, što ga dovodi u poziciju istaknutog centra trgovine i inovacija. Nigerija je na vrhu kad je riječ o broju programera, sa stalno rastućom zajednicom. Godine 2022. nigerijski startupi privukli su gotovo 30% ukupnih investicija u tehnološke startupe u Africi. Od 2015. do 2022. vidljiv je eksponencijalni rast u financiranju koje su osigurali nigerijski startupi. U Lagosu smo prisustvovali značajnom događaju Data Fest Afrika. Znanost o podacima igra ključnu ulogu u tehnološkom sektoru, postavljajući temelje za brojna tehnološka dostignuća i inovacije. David Abu, suosnivač Data Fest Afrika, smatra da je ova konferencija namijenjena afričkim stručnjacima za podatke u tehnološkom i poslovnom sektoru.
One of the things we notice about Africa is that the use of data has not gotten to a real maturity level. You go to Europe, you go to the North America, there's a level in which they use data to solve problems. Like we can see in the age of open AI right now, because data is used at the very high level. That is one of the things that we are trying to champion here in Africa, where people use data at a very, very high level. But people cannot use data if they are not skilled within it. So we need people to understand data, how to learn it, and how to use it. And that is why within the African ecosystem, that is why we need to bring people together. So we have speakers from South Africa, from Kenya, from Ghana, coming in to Nigeria to talk about this. Without data, there is no AI, because you need to train the data to build the AI models. So data is the lifeblood of everything that we run on. And that is why it is so important within the tech ecosystem. Every technology that will need to be innovated must be innovated on the back end of data. So the level at which we see Africa is whereby innovations that solve socio-economic challenges, that solve poverty, that solves education, those are the things that we are looking at to solve within the data space. And if we can do that, then there might be a channel for us to work on for Africa to rise, because there is data, there are people skilled to solve it, and the only thing is to bring them together.
Jedna od osnivačica Data Fest Afrika, Akahome Daniel, navodi da Nigerija nastoji ići u korak s globalnim trendovima korištenja podataka za donošenje poslovnih odluka.
The data community had to spring up as a result of the fact that we had a lot of people, a lot of companies looking out for talents that could help them analyze their data, process this data, get insights from it for business decision making. But they couldn't find those talents around here because people were hidden, more or less. Not like we didn't have people learning, they were learning, but they didn't have this platform to come up, and speak about it. So we had to form that community whereby people became so outspoken about data analysis, their journey, and we saw a lot of companies reaching out to hire those people. And now many Nigerian companies are becoming so data strategic. I always like to talk about local content, and if there is anybody to preach our gospel, it is us, right? We Nigerians have to preach our gospel, and Nigeria has been seen as the giant of Africa, and we tend to set the pace. If you look at our population, we are actually the largest in Africa. If you look at in terms of having different openings, people with different backgrounds and all of that, Nigerians have more populations when it comes to that. So it's actually important that a conference of this magnitude is owned by Nigerians, for Nigerians, and not just Nigerians, for Nigerians and Africans at large.
Casablanca, najveći grad u Maroku, dinamični je centar Sjeverne Afrike, poznat po modernoj infrastrukturi, prometnoj luci i vitalnoj poslovnoj četvrti, što ga čini ključnom financijskom, poslovnom i trgovačkom destinacijom. Zahvaljujući povoljnom položaju i dobro razvijenim transportnim vezama, Casablanca služi kao spona koja povezuje Afriku, Europu i Bliski istok, privlačeći ulagače, multinacionalne kompanije i međunarodne događaje u regiju. Iako je marokanski startup ekosustav još u počecima, stalni rast i interes ulagača doveli su ga među 7 najvećih zemalja po ostvarenim investicijama u 2022. Iako su one oko 60% manje u usporedbi s prethodnom godinom, važno je da je broj tvrtki koje su uspjele osigurati investicije porastao za 80%. I startupi su povezani s mladom populacijom programera, zapošljavaju više od polovice programerske populacije na kontinentu. Osim toga, startupi su često jedini koji su spremni zaposliti juniore i pružiti im obuku na radnom mjestu. A mladi su često i na čelnim pozicijama ovakvih kompanija. Među njima je i Yasin Ayub, učesnik panel diskusije na Infobipovim susretima u Casablanci. Ova marokanska ideja rješava postojeći društveni problem, slično ostalima u afričkim gradovima koje smo posjetili.
It is the first platform in Morocco and North Africa to offer students a unique orientation experience based on these technological tools. We should not just be focusing on this problem here in Morocco, but there is like a major need also in other countries, like neighboring countries, for example. North Africa, we do have Tunisia, Algeria, we have French-speaking countries in Africa as well. So they almost have the same educational system, and they share with us the same problem. So basically, if we just expand this solution to other countries, it should be a major change and have a lasting and a big impact.
Kako kaže, ima određenih promjena u odnosu na doba njegovih početaka u tehnološkom sektoru.
Lately, there is a lot of young people who are starting their own projects, not just just a regular startup, but innovative startups in general. And I think this is something very impactful to the economy of Morocco in general, but also makes us rethink and redefine the concept of entrepreneurship as it is.
Voditeljica Infobipove ekipe, Iman Rifki, također osjeća promjenu.
For Morocco, we can see that, I would say, not only in Morocco, but Morocco in Africa, you have before COVID and after COVID, because even the behavior of people changed. The needs in terms of technology changed. If we stick to what startups in terms of technology, for example, are making, great progress in edtech, in martech, in fintech. So we have so many rooms of the basics, let's say, to sustainable economy that are coming first, this is the focus, where is it coming first, and then grow and expand into other areas.
Spektar ulaganja u tehnologiju vrlo je širok jer su usluge i proizvodi namijenjeni različitim svrhama. Većina investicija usmjerena je prema fintech sektoru, gdje je uloženo više od 1,4 milijarde dolara.
I would say also edtech. So when it comes to edition books, giving access to edtech in Africa, it's really huge. E-commerce. You've been in Nigeria, you've been to Kenya, and you see how much platforms do we have in terms of e-commerce that maybe might sound, okay, it's duplicated case, but when you see how the customer journey is included, how for diversity that we have within one continent and still keeping different habits together in one platform, it's something really big success stories.
Produkt menadžerica Sana Harmaš duboko je u marokanskoj tehnološkoj sceni, u kojoj je uključena kroz razne inicijative i programe.
What helped me really get in the field and really get to where I want to be is the community. One of the greatest assets in Morocco are the tech community. Morocco is more tech-driven today, and I'm really proud to see that one of African countries that once was not very tech-savvy is today a very tech-oriented country. And I'm also proud to see business owners really thinking about or giving more value to tech teams or product teams. So how would I describe it? I would definitely describe it as running as fast as it can, so yeah.
Ne napreduje samo Maroko. Izgleda da je napredak prisutan u svim afričkim zemljama koje smo posjetili. U posljednjih nekoliko godina snažno se razvija stručnost u oblasti podataka, ali što je jednako važno, došlo je do razvoja zajednica, čiji su predvodnici potpuno svjesni postojećih izazova i potencijala. Kad je riječ o afričkim tehnološkim ekosistemima, treba imati na umu i to da je Afrika u mnogim aspektima jedinstvena.
Africa is not following, but is for something is first, because they are open for new innovation, they are open for new projects. I think also like before was for SMS, for communication, where they were number one and still they are. Now they are going in different channels, but also in terms of new products, they are, everything is there innovating. We are not the only type of company that is coming. There is a lot of Indian company that they are known also for innovation. So Africa is not some place where it's the last, but it's the first for many things.
Afrička tehnološka transformacija obilježena je kreativnošću, inovacijama i zajedničkom vizijom za svjetliju budućnost. Snažno naglašavajući važnost zajednice, ovaj kontinent spreman je za veliki rast i pozitivne promjene u dinamičnom okruženju. Jedno je sigurno, postoje svi uvjeti za uspon Afrike u globalnoj tehnološkoj areni.